So today I want to share with you one of the questions that I get asked most frequently by people, and I want to share my thoughts on it as a question and also the answers that I sometimes give. Hello, and the warmest of welcomes to today's video. Those of you who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, fab to have you here. Those of you who have seen my face before, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're enjoying my videos. I try and put out videos probably 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion to some more personal topics. And my whole premise in life is about living life loud, and that's about being your authentic self, being proud to be you, and just celebrating who you are as an individual. So if you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Also consider hitting that subscribe and turning on a notification bell so you're notified as and when I post. Anyway, what's the topic of today's video? Actually, before we get into that, I got tagged in a fun little exercise earlier by Connor, whose YouTube channel is The Closet, but on Instagram he tagged me to find out what my shoes of the day were. So I thought I would actually just share them with you guys as well. So today my shoes of the day were my Kurt Geiger trainers. These are in the pink and blue tie-dye. These are part of their vegan collection. I cannot remember what they're called. I only bought them the other day and I only picked them up yesterday, but they have already been used, as you can see from the sole. They were super duper comfy. I actually really loved them. I wasn't sure when I first bought them, but I really love them. In addition, bag of the day. My Longchamp Les Pliage Club top handle in the medium size in the cactus green colour, with the beautiful scarf that I put on this the other day. I just think the colours absolutely pop. This is a stunning bag. We all know how I feel about my Longchamp Les Pliages. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous bag. Anyway, let's get into the topic. So, what's the question that I'm referring to? And this is a question that I receive a lot as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, and that's, was it difficult or is it difficult to come out? Was it difficult? And this is an interesting one because I've had it asked in a couple of different ways, and it all depends on the intent as to how I respond to it. On the whole, I'm asked, was it difficult? You know, what could have been done to help? You know, how did you feel about it? That's great. I've occasionally been asked, why was it difficult? But not in a way that's like, oh, why was that so challenging? As in, why? Like, that lack of understanding as to why it might be a difficult topic. So, to those people, I basically say, F off. To everybody else, I'm like, let me talk you through it. And the first thing I have to say here is everyone's experiences are different. I can only speak from my experience. I can only speak to how I feel on this topic. Everyone has different experiences. Everyone has a different backstory. Therefore, we all think about this in different ways. All think about this in slightly different ways. Now, my overarching feeling on this topic is that yes, it is quite difficult. That's been my experience anyway, not because anyone's made it particularly difficult, but because there's a lot of emotion that sits behind it. Some people will find it less so, some people will find it much more so. It all depends on the environment and how you're feeling about it. But before I get too much into that, let me just make a couple of points. The first point being, you never, as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, stop coming out. Everyone thinks it's a definitive moment in time. Yes, there's a moment that you first say it. There's a moment that you first tell someone, and we all know that individual that we first told. However, it is something that you end up addressing multiple times throughout your life. Every new person that you meet, you have to consider, do I or don't I address this with them? Every time I'm having a conversation with people, and if I've just met them and they're talking about partners, relationships, I think twice about, do I reveal the fact that if I was in a relationship, let's say I'm not, but let's say I was, that I'm in a relationship with a man? How will that be received? Will that be positive? Will they just think, oh great, okay, so you're in a relationship, good for you? Or could it be something that they see adversely? Could it be a negative? Could it be something that people get upset over, that people get aggressive about? You have to have those thoughts. You have to have those considerations. How could this be received? How might someone respond to me when they find that out? You like to think that everyone just carries on as if nothing had nothing was different. A lot of people do. Sometimes you get the people who mean well, but they say, oh, great, in that really, in that tone of voice, because you caught them off guard. It doesn't mean there's anything negative about it, but it's them adjusting, and you have to just sit and sort of think, okay? Adjust. And then you have others who, they might not be so kind about it, so friendly about it. So that's one thing to consider, the fact that you never stop coming out. It's something you always have to address. It's something that you always have to consider. It's also important to note that even if you consistently coming out, as in, so for me as a gay man, I have to constantly be thinking about, do I tell people I'm gay, do I not? There might be individuals who come out at one point in time as something. So for example, let's say that someone comes out as gay, a man comes out as gay. Then a few years later, they might think, no, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. I'm actually non-binary. Or actually, I don't feel like my body's a reflection of who I am as an individual, it's who I am on the inside, and actually I would like to transition. That individual it will never stop that coming out process. It's a journey, it's a development cycle, it's a process. It is a process. And it's not just you reach one stop and you stop. Not for everyone. I am a cisgendered gay man. That is, as far as I'm aware in my own mind at this moment in time, that's my stop. However, that is not the same for everyone, and that has to be respected, and that has to be considered when asking these types of questions and when having these types of discussions. Who are you speaking to? What could their journey be? You have to be really mindful of these things. You have to be really considerate of that. So, and I'm very fortunate. I have amazing people in my life who are able to educate me on such matters. I spend a lot of time educating myself. I read, I Google, I watch things, I learn, I learn through conversations that I hear, but I have amazing friends who will also help to educate me. On that education piece, by the way, that is not their duty to educate me. I'm really fortunate that my friends are in a position where they feel like they want to educate me if I need to, or anyone around us. I try to do the same if I have the opportunity to educate someone else, but it is nobody's duty to do so. So that's why Google can be an amazing resource. That's why reading and watching documentaries and programs, really getting under the skin of the topic, because it shows that engagement, it shows that interest. That's just something really important to know. It is not someone's duty to educate others. It's not their purpose. It's not their role in life. If they choose to make it such, that's their call. It cannot be expected. Now, back to the question at hand of, do I think it's easy to come out? I don't. And the reason that I don't is because even if you grow up in the most stable, supportive environment, I think it is an adjustment. It is something that is seen to be outside the norm, and therefore it takes addressing. And that, particularly when you're younger, so let's say people come out sort of 16, 17, 18, I came out at 18. It's a really big conversation to have. It's a really nerve-wracking conversation to have. Even if you think that you know kind of all the players in the game really well, and by that I mean sort of like your friends, your family, it's still a really nerve-wracking thing because you think, I know these people, I know their heart, and I know what they think, and I know how open-minded they are, I know how receptive they are. But what if I'm wrong? What if this doesn't go the way that I want it to? What if they don't accept me? What if I'm shunned? What if they kick me out? I remember having that thought at 18, thinking, God, if I get kicked out, I'd have nothing. I have nothing. I have nowhere to go. I have no money. I have nothing. Now, I would be doing my family a huge disservice by not stating the fact that that was just a very far-fetched concern for me. That was just me spiraling. because my family are incredibly, incredibly supportive of me. Not everyone has that. Not everyone has that. And that's really, really tough. That's really, really emotional. And to have that concern going into a conversation like that, where all you want is love and acceptance, to have those things in the back of your mind, it's a really difficult thing to come to terms with. It's a really difficult thing to reconcile in your own mind. And that in itself is why I think it's so tough. Why I think it's so tough. People have very different backgrounds. People have very different homes. People have very different start points. You know, if you do not live in an environment where diversity is discussed and there is an openness around it, that will impact how you approach those conversations. If you approach those conversations, you know, there will be individuals that unfortunately will go through their whole lives never being their authentic self, feeling like they can be their authentic self, denying themselves of potentially companionship, friendship within a community because they're fearful of how that could be perceived. They're fearful of the repercussions of it, and that's really, really tough. Some people never go through that. Some people never have that opportunity to live their life authentically, and that's devastating for them. That must, I mean, as someone who really values being able to be themselves and is very grateful for that, that would just eat me up, and it eats me up for them that they feel that way. And that there's, you know, what can you do to help? It's a really, really tough one. It's a really emotional time. There's a lot of reconciliation that goes through, or I know went through my mind prior to that process, prior to that conversation. I've been thinking about it for years and years and years, and I did share my coming out story. It was one of the first videos I did on here, so please feel free to go and watch that. But it's a really difficult topic. It's a really challenging topic, and everyone has very different experiences. Like I said, everyone has very different takes on it. And, you know, we all have to be very respectful of one another. And when you're asking questions, be careful to not pry too much. Let the person tell you as much as they want to tell you, and tell you as much as they feel comfortable with, because it is really difficult. It is really emotional. And, you know, it is a journey. It's tough. We never stop growing. We never stop adapting. And, you know, you want to be able to just show who you are 24/7. But I remember I was away with a former partner. We were staying in a hotel. We were off for our dinner reservation. We held hands when we left the hotel. We must have walked about 200-300 meters, walking down this little street. Two men turned the corner. My partner let go of my hand and pushed it away, just as they turned the corner. And that, I believe, we never really discussed it, but I think that was out of fear. I think that was out of concern. How would it be seen? So when we talk about, you know, constantly coming out, us two holding hands, even if we're not verbally saying it, that's what we're doing. That's what we were doing in front of those two individuals. That's what that would have meant. But that wasn't not a conversation. That wasn't something that clearly wanted to be portrayed. So my hand got pushed. I understood it. I'd have probably done the same. That's sad. It's disappointing to feel that way. But I would like to believe that there would not have been a problem. But you're never sure. You're never sure. And you never want to be right 9 times out of 10. Because what's that 1 out of 10? Do you know? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's an interesting one because the visual cues, all that stuff. And you don't... Also, I think when you come out, you also want people to know that you're the same person. I think I certainly felt, and I have felt over the years, and I'm quite an exuberant person anyway, but I sometimes feel a little bit like a caricature. And I am a bold individual. But I'm still me. I'm not a caricature. I'm not a character. It is part of who I am, but it is not a defining feature of who I am. It's not a descriptive of who I am. You know, I remember going to university and being given the nickname Gay Nick. And I said, absolutely, you cannot call me that. Absolutely not. So they call me Blonde Nick. I was like, I'm not having that be what you label me as. Before you even learn my name, before my name, you've got that. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. And that's not me saying I'm ashamed. It's not me saying I'm ashamed in any capacity, because believe you me, anyone who's been on this channel for long enough, you know I am not ashamed of who I am. And I encourage anyone to celebrate who they are. But that in itself was an interesting moment for me, where it was used as a descriptive, it was used as a label. I'm a person. I'm just Nick. I'm just Nick who happens to date men. Why does it matter? Why does it define me? Because again, I don't think it mattered to those individuals. I don't think it was meant with any malice. But it was a defining characteristic, almost. It's not, I'm just Nick. I'm just Nick. And who I date is my business. And your business, because I'm sharing it with you. But that's sometimes why this can be quite an interesting topic. It's why it's quite a deep topic. It's quite a emotive topic. But all I would say is, never be afraid to be curious. Never be afraid to ask questions. Just be really careful how you frame them. Be really considerate with how you frame them. And if you get it wrong and you are corrected, as I have been in the past, I've been corrected, apologize, move on. Move on. Say you're sorry and learn for next time. It is not about feeling guilty. It is not about making the person feel like this is something that's quite interesting. If you overly apologize, it then makes the other person feel like they have to say, no, it's okay. That's not what that's about. It's about saying, I made a mistake, I'm sorry, thank you for educating me. I know for next time. Super. We all move on. We all make mistakes. Never be afraid to ask questions. Be open to the dialogue. Choose the people though that you want to ask questions of. Make sure you have the relationship where you can ask questions. I get asked a lot of questions by people that, in all honesty, have no business asking me these questions. Sometimes I think they know me better than they do. I like to be open. I like to think that, you know, I have one of those personalities that hopefully people feel like they can build a rapport with. But if you've only just met me, there are certain things that you should not be asking me, and people sometimes do, and I'm like, would you ask someone else this? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, be open, be curious, be mindful of who you're asking, be mindful of if the person declines to respond, let them. Let them. That's okay. They might just not want to answer your question that day. It's not a slight on you. They might come back to you. They might see you in a few days and go, do you know what, I'm really sorry. I was just having one of those days. I didn't really want to answer that. Do you want to talk it through now? I've had some time to think about it. Can I talk you through it now? That's okay. Be open to that. Anyway, it's a slightly different tone and a slightly different topic to what I would normally go for. I like my videos to be quite upbeat, but like I said, this is something that I get asked quite a lot, and I just wanted to share it with you. I wanted to share my thoughts on it. And yeah, I would love to hear anyone else's experiences. As I said, I can only speak for myself. I cannot speak for anyone else, nor would I want to. I am not the authority on this topic. I am just someone who goes through it. I'm someone who watches others go through it. And I'm someone who is open to learning and is open to growth. And yeah, would love to hear your thoughts. Of course, if there is anyone who's going through a tough time or would like to reach out to someone, please don't hesitate. always here. Anyway, thank you so much as always for watching, guys. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, which which will probably be something, you know, a little more fun, maybe something handbag related. Let me know if you want to see something in particular. Let me know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care.